Hello and welcome back to Healing with Ben. If you're listening to this instead of watching, I just span around in my chair really majestically. So watch it as well, please. Thanks. This is episode 3 of Healing with Ben, titled Ben, Why Do I? Where I answer all of your anonymous questions. Let's go. How do you know when you're healing? I don't think healed exists, but a good sign to figure out when you are healing is you'll get bored. You no longer look around for stuff to distract yourself with. You'll sit down and you'll get bored. Why do I think everyone around me lies to me or that they will betray me? Because the people in your life who should have given you unconditional love and support didn't. And if you can't trust them, why the fuck would you trust anyone else? I like this question. I like them all, sorry, people pleaser. How do you separate trauma from autism and ADHD? How do I know which is which? So I hate labels. And I think if I went to a doctor, they would say I have ADHD, autism, OCD, and and PTSD. And genuinely, I'm not trying to make a joke of that. I think I'd have them all. But there is so much that overlaps between them all, and I hate it. Like if someone says, "I don't like a crowd, Ben. There's too many people." Is that normal? Is that trauma because you've been taught to be hypervigilant to all the voices in your house to keep safe? Is it autism and you're just getting overstimulated, or is it ADHD and you're trying to focus on everything? There's too many labels. So I think I don't care. I think that you are you. So sometimes we look for these labels to make excuses or take away to make our trauma feel better. I wasn't traumatic, it was just this. I'll leave it at that. Why do I feel like I'm annoying everyone? Because you were made to feel like an inconvenience in your own home. I remember being a child and every night I would stand outside my mother's bedroom door and I would say, "Good night," and she'd say, "Good night," and I'd say, "I love you. I love you. I love you. Good night, I love you," and eventually she'd shout it back. So if we are made to feel like we are burdens with our own quote-unquote family, then we'd act the same way with everyone else. Didn't mean to share my own trauma there. Why can I never ask for help from others? Because it was either never given to you, and you always had to do it yourself, or if you ever did get help, even if you didn't ask for it and it wasn't in the way that you needed it, it was thrown back in your face and used against you. How do I get rid of anger towards my parents? A lot of the time we have this anger and we think we get pissed off at small things, but we just have so much situations and experiences throughout our life where we should have been angry but we weren't allowed to express. So now it's waiting at the surface. So this one little trigger will open the door and allow it to flood out. Forgiveness is for you, not the other person. Forgiveness isn't saying I condone and accept the way you treated me and your actions and behaviors when I was a child. Forgiveness is drawing a line and choosing peace for you today and every other day going forward. Why am I so hard on myself when I've made a mistake? Because you think if you've made a mistake, then you're disappointing people. And to disappoint people as a child meant you were unloved. Why do I feel so much anxiety connecting with people that I like romantically? Because love, quote unquote, was unsafe. Your parents were abusive but told you it was love. So why would you, again, it comes down to if you can't trust them, why would you trust anyone else? Ben, why do I choose bad partners? You don't. Again, I hate repeating my answers. Your parents were abusive but told you it was love. So when you meet someone who treats you the same way, you think, "Oh, fuck, I know this feeling. It's familiar. It's love." So you hold on to it because you have no idea who you are, number one. And number two, your parents told you that you didn't deserve any kind of love that was more than what they gave you. Ben, why do I have an urge to lie sometimes? Because it never used to end well when you told the truth. So what's the difference? Ben, why do I let my partner treat me the same as my mother always did? Oh my God, I have to repeat the same answer. Because your parents told you that what they gave you was love, but it was abuse. So you think that being treated badly is still the closest thing you know to love. Sorry, but that applies as well. If I have to repeat the same answer, then I'm going to end this podcast. And that's not me having to go at you. That's my fault for not rewording answers to sound smarter. Ben, why do I constantly need validation from others? Because you were brought up as an extension of your parents. You had to be their therapist or just listen to their problems and not speak about your own. You were like a handbag and you were just living a part of their life, not your own. And that becomes your identity because you have no right to question otherwise. These are your parents, they want the best for me. So we get into relationships, we become extensions of them. We become parents, we become extensions of our kids. Our identity is partner or parent. So we try and become this social chameleon and essentially become extensions of everyone we meet, whether it's in work or in social settings, because we want to be loved. We want to give them the version of us that we think they need. Ben, why do I care what others think? Because your parents lived perception first. They care more about how the family looked than how it is. You had a different family in the house to outside the house because they cared more about image. And what this does is teaches us to care more about other people's opinions of us rather than the opinions we have of ourselves. Deep down, you have a fear that your parents are going to, deep down, you have a fear that people are going to judge you like your parents did. Ben, why do I still listen to my parents' voice in my head? Because you haven't found your own yet. So it's easier. This is balancing the scales of years of conditioning. It's easier to listen to their voice if you haven't found your own yet. Then when you hit a wall, when you hit a mental block or a rough point in your life, it's easier to fall back to the old version of you and listen to their voice again, which just reaffirms the bad stuff. Ben, why do I overload myself with work? Because you're afraid of peace. It's a fear of the unknown. If you ever had peace as a child, it was probably taken away from you. Ben, why do I have a fear of spending money? Is it a case of if you have no money, you'll have to rely on your parents? Or you'll have to rely on anyone? And it goes back to not being able to take help from anyone. I've just realized you can see my little Spider-Man figure. I repose this figure in between every client. Anyway, Ben, why do I keep trying to change my parents? You fuck yourself up by thinking they have the same heart as you. And one day they will change and take accountability and be there for you and be the parents you've always needed. But you also have evidence that they are incapable of change. You're holding on to the idea of parents because you want to be loved. But just because they didn't love you doesn't mean, which is harsh. I'll say this so it sounds nicer. Just because they didn't love you the way they should have doesn't mean you can't love yourself. Ben, why do I keep being afraid of starting new hobbies and spending time with people even if I want to? I call it happiness procrastination. If you want to start a business and you are an expert in the field, there's a gap in the market, you know it will be a success, but deep down you don't think you deserve success. You will put it off, you make excuses. If you want to diet, go to the gym, get into the best shape of your life, but deep down you don't think you deserve to love yourself, you will make excuses and you put it off. If you want to go out and start hobbies and spend time with your friends, but you don't think you deserve joy and to enjoy your spare time, then you will make excuses and you'll put it off. Ben, this is the last one. Ben, why do I have casual connections when I know I'm looking for a stable and loving relationship? Because you don't think you deserve love. So that's the closest thing you'll allow yourself to love, but you won't put yourself out there anymore because you have a fear of being hurt. So you hurt yourself by not putting yourself out there. Thank you so much for being here. I looked at myself then to say thank you so much instead of the camera. Thank you so much for being here too, Ben. You've been great. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope you enjoyed this short little episode for you. The next few weeks, my podcast guests are insane. And I genuinely, you will not believe them. A lot of them you will know if you have a television. If you've watched anything on TV ever, you will know a couple of my guests. Which is nuts. I can't believe they said yes. Nuts. I'm over talking, oversharing. Thank you so much for being here.